Oh my God. It is snowing so much. Look, Ma, I'm in New York. Yeah, get a load of this fucking guy. No, I'm just kidding. How is everybody? Arigato gozaimasu. That means thank you, though. Привет. Привет. Russian doitien gamaz. Huh? Привет. Нет? До свидания. Yeah. What do you think about that? There you go. What's up, America? How you doing, Troy? By the way, all the music I got in the background here on YouTube, I make myself because you're not allowed to put copywritten music up and make anything of yourself here on YouTube. So that, therefore, as a case, I just make my own background music because I don't want to pay no never mind when it comes to the YouTube rules. Except I talk a lot of shit, and so sometimes I get a lot of ad restrictions because, well, I'm a shit talker. But whatever. That's what it is. So we'll talk about more things. BlackRock, Vanguard, ancient Egyptian stuff that's been found. News like the Brown University shooting, ISIS coming back. What's up, America? How you doing? Killing Americans and the whole 9 yards. What can you say? I don't know if you've noticed, TikTok has been... Thank you, Aaron. Thank you, Aaron. Yeah. I don't know if you've noticed, TikTok's been acting quite retarded to me lately. They've been making it very difficult, not just for me, but for everybody. It's getting absolutely annoying. And I think a lot of us just need to come over here to YouTube, frankly speaking, because TikTok is a pile of diarrhea. So not only will I talk to you about what we're going on here, but of course I'll show you the, yeah, me too, Troy. And I will get into that. I'll tell you what, man, if you've seen some of the images underneath the pyramids, it looks to me, because there's 8 cylinders going into big chambers, I saw the outline, because I know how to read what ground penetrating radar looks like. And I'd like to show an image, maybe I'll put some up here after a minute, that you can see the temple formations. Well, this is a New York image. I'm in Indiana. And you can see the temple formations, and there's these columns that come in. But it looks like it spirals down. Now, people keep saying it's a power source. I love it. It's not a power source. I believe it's staircases going into these giant rooms. And I believe underneath, it is, isn't it? I believe that there's treasures, certain kings that we don't know about, or priests, and technologies that we're not aware of that exist under there. I believe that they were stored under there. And then, of course, not yet. And, of course, this is because I'm an anthropologist. A lot of times what would happen is if a society was collapsing, they would take certain treasures and try to hide them away. Oh, I don't know if I'd buy it, but I would go there. And so the Romans did it, where when the barbarians were attacking, they would squirrel away a lot of the artifacts, some of them never seen again. Some of them just being found and uncovered now, which I make videos on TikTok about that. And then, of course, when it came to ancient Egypt, it would stand to reason that they had places that they would put what I want to call hidden technologies, probably initially from the Babylonians or even the Akkadians or the Assyrians. But I digress. That's a whole other topic, which we do need to get into that, because the pyramid, I would love to go to the pyramids. If anybody on YouTube's got like 50 grand laying around, Cash App. We'll take videos from Egypt. Because I don't pay no never mind. I got a passport. Anyway, let's get to the news real quick, and then we'll get into the esoteric stuff. When it comes to archaeology, towards the middle and the end of this one. As of right now, police seek a suspect, some retard dressed in black. After at least 2 killed in Brown University shooting, 8 critically injured. What's up, Gino? Yeah. At least 2 people are dead and others wounded following a shooting at Brown University Saturday shortly after 4 p.m. according to the Associated Press. My tongue is itching like I got an allergic reaction.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know what the fuck. WBA. No. WBAL reported that the condition of the wounded have not been released during a 6:30 p.m. press conference. Officials made clear 8 people were wounded critically, 2 people dead. Brown University, Providence, Rhode Island. Police indicate they did not know what type of firearm was used, and the Providence, Rhode Island mayor said no suspect is in custody. What's up, America? How's everybody? SLD, what Minecraft mod is this? I do love Minecraft though, but I'm not a mod. I had my own realm and a world record once, so. Well, I don't know if nobody ever looked at it. I just know it's a world record. It's the longest underground glass tunnel ever made in Minecraft. Approximately, if I recall, it was 110,000 blocks long. And it took me approximately 8 months to connect 2 bases together underwater. I built my own conduits, all that other shit. No, you're good. I love it. Anyway, police indicated they don't know what firearm, they don't know who it is. What?
Poor cats.
Police are asking people to avoid the area while they search for suspects. They described the male suspect as a male dressed in all black. Shot 10 people at Brown University, 2 dead, 8 in critical condition. The president was apprised of the situation, gave a response. President Donald Trump says he's been fully briefed about the deadly shooting at Brown. 2 people killed, 8 injured. What a terrible thing, and all we can do is pray for the victims. Thoughts and prayers, which we need a national school security force, of course, in order to secure these schools. What's up, Heathen? How you doing? Trump responds, suspect is not in custody. Gabby Giffords calls for Congress to act before details of the shooting are known. Of course, she was shot also. And 2 U.S. Army soldiers killed and an interpreter killed in Syria, 3 others wounded as ISIS attacks American soldiers in an ambush. We talked about that earlier on TikTok. That is absolutely bullshit. And Donald Trump threatens a massive response against ISIS. We should have never stopped, and we should kill all of them immediately, in my opinion. Fuck ISIS. You deserve the longest dick you can fucking get. Oh yeah, I don't have to hide, do I? No. Democrat representative initiates impeachment against Kristi Noem. As you know, there's impeachments against Robert F. Kennedy Jr. and Pete Hegseth already, none of which will go forward. Letter cites multiple allegations, including a $200 million taxpayer-funded DHS public relations campaign, which reportedly involved vendors with personal ties to Kristi Noem and senior officials at the agency. Ramirez, the congressman, also points to Noem's authorization of a partisan video that was displayed in an airport during the government shutdown beginning October 1st, calling it a violation of the Hatch Act. I'm sick of people saying that. That's fucking stupid. In addition, Ramirez criticizes the purchase of 2 Gulfstream jets for $172 million under Noem's leadership. Now, that's a little different. Oh, I said it twice, SLD. Now, that's a little bit better. The Hatch Act is stupid, but buying $272 million jets, that could be considered a little bit excessive. Now, that's something different to investigate. Because the Hatch Act, nobody gives a shit about. It's the same as when they kept saying back in the day, well, we're going to get Bill Clinton for perjury. No one gives a fuck. No one gives a fuck. Yeah, you have to understand. When it comes to the government, and I'm 43 years old, so I've seen all this. There is what is illegal, and then there's what they give a fuck that's illegal, okay? So the government doesn't give a fuck if you're in politics under the protected class. If you commit perjury, you'll get a sanction or a censure. If you violate the Hatch Act, no one gives a fuck. If you Like, what are other stupid things? Perjury, obstruction of justice. Nobody gives a fuck. Nobody gives a fuck. What they care about is stuff like misappropriation of money, embezzlement, fraud. They don't even care about punching somebody. Oh, hell yeah, Michael. No, like, even if you're on the Senate floor, congressional floor, you get in a fist fight, punch each other, you'll just be removed by the sergeant at arms, and then you'll be allowed back. Nobody gives a fuck. Well, there's rules. I know there's rules. There's rules, and then there's reality. See, this is the one thing Democrats and Republicans can't understand. Democrats and Republicans never can understand this. That, yes, there's laws and rules, right? What's up, America? There's laws and rules, but you have to understand is nobody gives a fuck about these things. Yeah, you broke the law, so who gives a shit? Bill Clinton broke the law. Nothing happened to him. Trump broke the law. Nothing's going to happen to him. Obama broke the law. No one gives a fuck. Why? Because it's too hard to prosecute. And even if they did, somebody will either pardon them for continuity of government or it's impossible. They didn't get Andrew Johnson. Nixon resigned. No charges after. Trump impeached multiple times. No one cares. Done. And why is there no accountability? Because that's the government continuity. It's the same reason police officers have qualified immunity. Why can't the general public just sue every police officer? Because so many people would sue cops. They would say it's a destruction and continuity of law. So therefore, they give them qualified immunity. It's the same with the government officials. Now, if you embezzle money, steal it, sexually harass, even if you sexually harass people, the government has a fund that pays for your lawsuits. Unless it's publicly disclosed, like you did with, what's the guy that was from Saturday Night Live? Stuart Smalley? You know what I'm talking about? What was his name? You know what I'm talking about, right? Stuart Smalley, that guy, there was a picture of him squeezing some tits. Right, and they kicked him out, but there's still no charges. They don't give a fuck. They just say it's time to get out. Same with George Santos. What happened to Al Franken? Thank you. And what about George Santos? Well, we're going to get him pinned to a wall. You did. What happened? He's out. He's out. He's got a podcast. He's got a podcast and was on there with Milo Yiannopoulos. So it's like, oh, yeah, you pinned him to a wall until someone just opens the jail doors. This is what America does. This is who we are. This is what we do here. Well, that sounds like corruption. Ding, ding, ding. Winner, winner, chicken dinner. That's right. It sounds like corruption because it is corruption. Laws for thee and not for me. Yeah, that's what it is. That's what you're living in here in America. Well, that sounds like a two-tiered justice system. Yeah, that's right. Did I fucking stutter? I said what I said. So you're living in a two-tiered justice system, right? You're living in a system where the stock market goes up and they call it success. What's your real wages? Not going up. If you want to see a video about that, go over and look up Drew Gooden and look up his last video he made. He spells it out 100 times better than I could. Seriously, go look it up. Drew Gooden. Right? He's got a whole video talking about that. Stock market's up, wages are stagnant, home price is up. The higher it goes, the worse it gets, and it just feels further and further away. Like, he couldn't have said it any better. I could sit here for 5 years. This dude made a fucking 20-minute video saying exactly what I've been saying on TikTok for 3 years. Right? Knows exactly. He's 100% right. Drew Gooden. Look it up. One of the best videos I've seen in the last fucking 2 years on YouTube. That's what it is. That's where you're living in. Well, no, it's America. It's the land of the free. If you have enough money and pull. Yes. If you have enough money and pull. So if you're rich, you can get away with damn near anything. And I know what you're saying. Well, what about Diddy? He can't. He will. Give it enough time. 20 years in jail will turn into 3. Come on. Come on. You got to let it go long enough until the public forgets about it. And then we'll Rod Blagojevich you. And that's what it is. Then you'll be on podcasts talking about what it was like eating prison food, and you'll be a celebrity. That's what America does. We turn criminals into celebrities, right? And then we commit lots of crimes. That's why crime pays here in America. It doesn't pay to follow the law. What country would I say does it right? Not a one. Not a goddamn one. None of them. Zero. Zip. Zilch nada. Nope. All of them use the same bullshit systems that are, thank you, Pete. All of them use the same bullshit systems that are all on the authoritarian side of the political compass. None of them do it right at all. Zero. Because they all want power. They all suck the dick of power. See how that is? They go fucking retarded for money. That's all it is. Money and power. Fucking women, all that. Thank you, That's their whole notion. I want to be powerful, get away with a bunch of crimes, have a shitload of money and pull, yachts, hot women, fuck them constantly, have no problems. Thank you, the recycle. Then the recycling guy. You say, well, yeah, Trump, but not the others. No, the others too. Thank you, the others also. Trust me, the others do it. So Republicans, what do you think? You think because, I could see Republicans doing that. I could see MAGA doing that. Never a Democrat. Really? A Democrat dick doesn't get hard and wants to buy a hooker on taxpayer dollars? Really? Really? You don't apparently know men in power then. That's where we're rolling. That's how life does. So I don't like that. I don't want to see that. That's dirty, nasty. Well, history and reality are nasty topics. They're nasty topics. People get murdered. Julius Caesar was murdered by a couple of people. He was just he was a dictator, but he was trying to fix Rome, right? Make Rome great again. And they'll stab him to fucking death. Right? Cleopatra fucked a couple of powerful people to stay in, do some good deals. Right? This is what we do here. Alexander the Great was probably poisoned by the age of 24? Conquered a third of the known world. And I have a feeling that they're hiding civilizations. I had a video on here and on TikTok on one of my accounts about a map on Tartaria. I put 2 of them into a fucking AI. They gave me coordinates of an archaeological site that exists. It's like, what the fuck, right? What's up, my friend? Yeah, so travel as much as you can. I've, in my life, and I'll get to the news here in a minute. In my life, I've been to Italy. I've been to the Cayman Islands. I've been to Jamaica. I've been to Australia, New Zealand, Canada. Traveled all around America. And that's pretty much it. My wife has been to that, minus Australia and New Zealand, but Italy, Germany, England, Francois, Amsterdam, Netherlands. You've been to TJ. She's been to Mexico, right? But you got to travel the world. Now, I'll tell you this. Living in Australia like I did, I've been there twice. I went to university in Australia, and I lived there. My mom had a cousin that married a chiropractor down there. You get a much different perspective of America. But they always demonize America from outside because of the shit we do. But when you come into America, it's a different story. It says, well, I understand why we do it, right? So there's this back and forth that's going on. The perception of America, regardless if you go overseas or not, is one of disdain and rigid authoritarianism is a belief of our nation. What's up, chicken? Now, why is that? You have people in New Zealand and Australia, which I've been to both places, that call America authoritarian as they try to arrest people for hate speech online and take your guns. But we're the authoritarian ones because we're a different type of authoritarian to them. They believe that we're an authoritarian because they're not empirical, right? What's up, man? They're not empirical. The United States is seen as an empire of money and an empire of influence. But China should be seen that way as well as Russia, the European Union, several other aspects of this world. But the United States gets the raw end of the deal for 2 reasons. I'm in the child support. Not yet, you can't. And so the reason the United States gets like this is because you have to understand that we had a big turnaround. The United States worldwide was very positively viewed after World War II. The United States used to tax wealthy companies at approximately 80%. They tried to create social safety and social networks, which we're still paying for today. We were rebuilding Europe with the Marshall Plan. South America and Central America and Canada generally loved us. Australia, New Zealand, Philippines, we controlled Japan. Korea, we were seen as liberators. We beat back the Japanese. The Chinese were on our sides. The Russians were on our sides. Everybody except the Axis, and we were still helping to rebuild that. We're just denazifying and detotalitarianizing that. But at some point, it was made that the United States changed its ways. The United States left this notion of being the world's heroes after World War II to being the world's policeman and the world's money-making capitalistic rulership. And so the United States did very well for its workers all the way through about 1980, 1982. Now, people say Reagan was the best president in the world. Other people say he was a piece of shit. Ronald Reagan introduced trickle-down economics because of the fact that Jimmy Carter failed absolutely miserably and destroyed the economy. So, in order for what Ronald Reagan did was he forcibly crashed the economy and replaced it with a system of predatory and predatory companies and private equity style of corporations that basically lived off of debt, selling the pieces of the companies that once were that got us through World War II for trash, and made a lot of money for billionaires, very few people, while the companies were destroyed. Now, the notion here in the United States in the year 2025 is if we continue to make the rich rich, that they will continue to help us. And that's never, ever been the case. Ever, ever, ever. Never, ever been the case. It does not work. So if you make a company $10 billion, they will not help you. Now, before and during World War II, and I saw this also on Drew Gooden's video, before World War II, companies, and during World War II, companies would brag about how many employees could buy their product, how many employees and how much money they were given. Profit margins for the companies were not as high. You're looking at ridiculous profit margins now for companies, while back in the day, they used to tax them near 70 to 80%, and profit margins were just reasonable. Now, the worship of a man with money. Hell yeah, my friend. Hell yeah, Irish flag. I'm calling you Irish flag. God bless Ireland. Erin go bra. Erin go braless. To the... What, nothing? Anyway, sorry. But anyway, that being the case, the United States, unfortunately, is not the United States of your fathers. So when you see boomers keep saying that capitalism works and you just need to keep working harder, capitalism worked for boomers, okay? It's not the same kind of capitalism. The capitalism that was ingrained with companies giving more to the people, and this all started, and Drew Gooden put it out there 100%. GE was the model where the guy came in, fucked over GE, fired a bunch of people, and every year he would fire the bottom 10%. And so that's been a staple all the way to this day. And that's why you're seeing companies now getting rid of more and more of the workforce, trying to replace them with AI and robotics, meaning there will be no workers, period. The lobbyists need to go. And so I've read the news on TikTok already. I'm going to piss my wife off because this will take just as long. And I'm going to read my government so we knew what to do. And I'm going to write a book about this. And I want everybody on here to listen to my government plans. And if you like them, let me know as I go point by point. And if you think I'm stupid or a fuckbag, let me know. But please don't call me a stupid fuckbag. Say something different if you can. Don't be an asshole. So these are my plans, and I'm going to write a book about this over the next couple of... How long do you think it'll take? Week? God, you're hot. Let me see. I need him for motivation. Yeah, oh, you got to pull the covers down. Oh, there. Oh. Well, you look pissed. Why can't you just be happy?
I'm happy.
Little pets. Yay! Okay. What? Sorry. Oh, well, that's true. Anyway, sorry about that. Doublehead dinos coming after him when they retire. So let's get into my plans here because I don't want to talk shit about certain things. My first point, so this is a 50-point plan, and this is my government. Thumbs up if you like it, gift if you like it, and Cash App and Venmo attached here by my moderator, who's also my hot-ass wife. So, let me know if you like this shit or if you hate it. Point number 1 is term limits. Term limits. Do you want term limits? My plan is 2 terms, that's it. It does not matter your position. If you're a congressman, a senator, a president, a vice president, Supreme Court, or cabinet member. 2 terms and you get the fuck out. Suck my dick. That's what it is. You're done. 2 terms. So 1 Supreme Court, 1 president, you're done. 1 Congress, 1 president, you're done. Senator and Congress, you're done. 2 Supreme Court, you're done. 2 president, you're done. Vice president, president, get the fuck out. We need to shake it up and get more people in. Speed this shit up. This is fucking ridiculous nonsense. I'm ugly and lack of confidence. I am too. I'm ugly as fuck, but I still got her. It's because confidence is fake bravado, my friend. That's all it is. If you act like you got the biggest dick swinging, people think you do. I got you, didn't I? Exactly. And you were my boss, and I still fucking got you. Didn't I? Uh-huh. Now, I don't know if I'm going to be able to keep you. Hopefully.
You've kept me for 18 years.
18 years isn't 50. Nevertheless, let's continue. Probably. I am... I can trash mouth. Okay, that's point number 1 is term limits. I think we all agree with that unless we're stupid. Point number 2, end lobbying. Just end lobbying. That's it. There is no stipulation. There is no maybe, in case, possibly. If you're a lobbyist, you're out of a job. Suck my asshole. That's what it is. If you are at end lobbying, you're out of a job. That's it. That's point number 1 and 2. Those two together are enough to end about 80% of corruption in the government, because most corruption comes from lobbyists and long-term government offices, because you're in for a long time, 56 or 30, 40 years, like Mitch McConnell and Chuck Schumer. We could do age limits. I can put that in with it, and end lobbying, because that's where the corruption comes from. Well, they don't give cash gifts. No, they donate to companies, or they donate to campaigns, and they give you gifts. So suck my ass. Fuck lobbying. And that's what it is. Point number 3, end income tax for anybody making $150,000 a year. Yeah, I'm not on the offender list, dude. The fuck is wrong with you? Why is everybody weird sexual over here? Anyway, point number 3, end the IRS. The rich will pay or anybody making $150,000 or less would pay no taxes. Yeah, the only time I was ever arrested, I was 17 for weed. That's it. And by the way, after I got out of jail for weed when I was 17, which was juvenile, I smoked a blunt immediately. So, anyway, so point number 3, in the IRS, the top 1,000 wage earners, damn right it's not. Well, the top 1,000 wage earners will pay the difference. I've already done the math on this. The rich would have to approximately pay 4 to 5% more. 4 to 5% more. So the top 1,000 wage earners would lose 4 to 5% of their income, and that would cover the anybody making under 150 grand a year or less not paying taxes. Yes, that's 300K as a household. That's it. Point number 4, end property taxes. That's it. Point number 4, end property taxes. Oh, I know what a lid is. Yeah. You know, a zip. Yeah. End property taxes nationwide. Make an entire a national law that says property taxes of any kind are illegal nationwide. National law supersedes state law. Suck my ass. There we go. So that's the top 4 points. Most of those top 4 points right there would really change the entire dynamic of the government. Every other point after this is something added for the people. So let's get into that. Point number 5, no tax on food. Prepared food would still be taxed. There would be no tax on any food nationwide, and the government would pay out a health incentive, something small like a $100 a year dividend or something like that. So if you're a fat fuck and you lost like 100 pounds, you'd make $100 a year, right? You could use that consequently to buy more food. Nevertheless, though, that's part of that. Point number 6, health insurance would have to accept a rate above 90% of doctor recommendations. So what's up, Mabel Cat? So do you understand what I'm saying here? Health insurance companies would have to accept over 90% of doctor recommendations, meaning that basically the health insurance company would have to have a reason to not accept that. So if a doctor said heart surgery and a health insurance company said, no, we'll just no, you can't do that. The guy paid you, suck my ass. We're not doing that. And so that would basically rule out any surgery except for cosmetic being ruled out. And then, of course, that would be for American citizens or people that are here legally in the country. Now, you can say, why would that be? That would be because if we didn't, it would strain the system so much that we have to make decisions. So it's either the American citizens get most of their health coverage taken care of, or we break it up and you get nearly half of it maybe. So you have to start making some tough sacrifices here. Point number 7, end monopolies nationwide. End monopolies nationwide. That does include private equity like BlackRock, Vanguard, State Street. You would be scrutinized as well. And because there's not going to be any gain with monopolies in any business for the poor, middle class, or any type of, what do you want to call that? Small business would never, you're not going to ever succeed against what you're dealing with right now. Nobody in God's green earth can. So the point number 8, uphold the First Amendment. This would be called the Charlie Kirk Act. Personal interpretation of the problem. Well, yeah, but we have to do a little better than this. It doesn't really matter because we know what the problems are, and the problems are with this is people are too taxed, and people don't have the freedoms that they need. That's basically what it is. There's too much government intrusion, and with the rich holding 94% of all money in the United States, and 325 million people are fighting over 5% that remains, we have to have a big coming together here as a society. It doesn't mean socialism. It just means we got to kind of figure out, the rich need to play ball because they're not investing in America. And I'm getting to these points. So don't speed me along. I'm getting there. Because I've got a bill for that. Which is funny. Point number 8, uphold the First Amendment, the Charlie Kirk Act, which is basically you cannot. So there's a law called 18 U.S. Code 241 and 242 where they social media companies and other companies use, basically say, you can't say this or that, we'll debank you, we'll deplatform you, this, that, or the other. And in my opinion, it's against the law because 18 U.S. Code 241 says that any conspiracy to restrict your constitutional rights will be met with a law up to 10 years in jail. And if it's done on purpose across the board, it's the death penalty or life in prison. So, because it's restriction of constitutional rights. So, the Charlie Kirk Act would make sure that not only could social media companies not just arbitrarily ban you, they don't have to pay you, but arbitrarily ban you. And unless it's like Chomo shit or that other crap, you get rid of that and prosecute, of course. But then they would be held accountable for doing stuff like that. Also, debanking, regardless of your politics, it's a fuck up. Thank you, Mabel Cat. So we're not allowed to have that. We don't want that. The next part, point number 9, will be seen as socialist. But I don't give a fuck because we have enough money here in America. So I don't really care. Suck my dick, whatever. We need a second Bill of Rights, which is called an Economic Bill of Rights. This is a financial Bill of Rights, and I'm going to justify why this works. The first point of this second Bill of Rights would be a right to a useful and remunerative job. In the shops, farms, industries, or mines of the United States, that incentivizes companies to bring factories back to the United States by force. Point number 2, the right to earn enough money to provide for food, clothing, and recreation. Why recreation? Because recreation, you need to be able to have a break sometimes. This constant never-ending cycle of work, sleep, and you never have any free time at all. It's draining. People want to kill themselves. We need to get this going. People need to have freedom of recreation as well. Point number 3, the right to every farmer to raise and sell his product at a return which will give him and his family a decent living. We need farmers. Corporate farms, agro farms aren't going to do it. And even if they do, I don't want it. It's not healthy. It's not good for America. And we need to think, even if we lose profit, this is the one thing everybody has to understand. You're going to lose profit with this shit. All right? You're going to lose profit. All right, so BlackRock, Vanguard, like you're going to lose about 8% to 10% of your profit. So if you don't like it, I don't fuck you, okay? Small businesses are not going to lose. So if you have a concrete firm, a carpentry business, you're a truck driver, you're not going to lose any money doing this. You're actually going to have an easier time on prescription medicine, healthcare, all this shit. We're not changing America to some socialist, communist horse shit. We're just returning it to the ease it was in the 50s. You understand? Only without the fucking hardcore discrimination and all this other shit. That's basically what we're heading to. So if you're like, oh, well, America's really hard. Well, it doesn't have to be that way. Lower gas, exactly. It doesn't have to be hard. Companies, we need to quit being douchebags. Same with the top trillionaires. We don't need trillionaires. That's fucking stupid. Continuing, the right of every businessman, large and small, to trade in an atmosphere free of unfair competition here at home or abroad. Oh, of course I would. I would decriminalize it. I'm not allowed to legalize it. That's states' rights. So I have to decriminalize weed, and the states have to ask, they have to do it or not. So like Indiana doesn't have to sell it in a store, but you can't go to jail. But if you want to sell it, everybody's decriminalized. That's a whole private prison thing. I'm getting into that in a minute. Point number 5 on this second Bill of Rights, the right of every family to a decent home. I didn't stutter, motherfucker. The right to every family to a decent home. That's it. You get, like, if you have a family, you should be able to live in a home and afford it. This isn't hard. Well, why don't you work 100? I'm talking 20-year mortgages maximum, low interest rates, and I got a plan for this, but it's too hard on people. The next generation is going to be living in a box if you let them. The fuck? The next point, the right to adequate medical care and the opportunity to achieve and enjoy good health. That's not a problem. A sick workforce is not a good workforce. If you have people going to work sick, diseased, people can't afford health, they have cancer and they're homeless on the streets, that looks like a failed empire. I already talked about that, Meep. This is a failed empire. If you have a bunch of veterans living on the streets begging for money, if you got a bunch of people falling out on fentanyl, crack addicts walking around, abandoned buildings, looking like shit, gutter. This is America. This isn't fucking New Delhi. All right, this is the United States of America. This is not Kolkata. This is not Islamabad in Pakistan. This is the United States of America. Let's Dubai this up a little bit. Let's Singapore this up a little bit. Let's get our shit together. Let's get off the drugs. Let's get off the fucking social media shit talking. And let's start building roads and fucking nice infrastructure. Let's not look like we're fucking at the tipping edge of the gutter. You know what I'm saying? Let's fix this up. Let's doll this up. Let's church it up a little bit. You know, when a foreign visitor visits the United States, we don't want to have to hide the homeless and hide the shitty abandoned buildings. Let's get some good architecture. Let's Frutiger Arrow this. You know what I'm saying? Let's not fucking have homeless people having to shit in a trash can. If you ever been to New York, you're going to be seeing that. I've seen it. We've seen eating out of it. Why not shitting at it, right? Oh, man. That's a whole other thing, because one homeless guy could have shat in it, then the next one comes and eats out of it. Oh, mercy. Anyway, right to good health. Excuse me. Yeah, Howard, damn right. The next point on this, the right to adequate protection from the economic fears of old age, sickness, accident, and unemployment. We already have unemployment. Your society is a piece of shit if you don't take care of the elderly. If you don't, fuck you. You're garbage. So, and that's what it is. And of course, the last point, the right to a good education. Well, hold on. You got to pay $50,000 for student loans. No, 100 grand. No, you don't. First of all, the student loan thing. I made a video on here and on TikTok showing my student loans. I owe $52,000. I'll pay $112,000. That's loan sharking. Your tax dollars already paid for public university. So what the fuck are you paying 50 grand? You should be able to get $10,000 maximum student loans. That's your cap. And then everything else is paid for. Well, no, that's socialism. Your taxes already paid for public university, dumb fuck. So how is that socialism? You're already paying for it. They're just raping your sons and daughters for wampum now. That's all it is. Or, yeah, no interest student loans. If you want to go to a private university, you want to take out 800 grand in student loans, that's your prerogative. I'm talking public university. Do we not pay taxes for it already? Taxes and endowments and fucking charity. That's what pays for your public university, right? The private universities are paid for donations, profiteering from capitalist means, and then endowments and shit. So if we're paying taxes for student loans, why are your sons and daughters taking $50K out? There shouldn't even be any chance of that. You should have no reason to even be having access to that at the age of 18, 19 years old. What the fuck? You should be able to take out $2,500 for books and food. Next year, $2,500, books and food. You're not going to be going on trips to Italy with student loan money like I did. Yeah. Oh, yes. Not only did I use it, yeah. Where do you think I got that money to travel to Italy I was talking about? Thanks, Uncle Sam. I'm going to be paying for it. But you know what? Should have never been existing to even me doing it. Yeah, I took advantage. Fuck you. Right? I have to pay it back. That's my prerogative. That's my fucking cross to bear. But you know what? I didn't make $112,000 of debt. I made $54,000 or $52,000 in debt. You took my 3.4% interest rate, stopped all of it during coronavirus, And then afterwards, you gave me a 6.2% interest rate. Well, hold on, fuckface. I signed up for a 3.4% interest rate. Well, guess what? We changed the terms. Well, I signed a fixed rate. Yes, but fixed doesn't mean fixed for us. We changed it on you. But I signed 3.4% fixed. I have the paperwork. Well, hold on a second. Legally speaking, fixed means variable. And I talked to him. I'm like, you're full of shit. You're a loan shark. You're a con artist. What the fuck? It reminds me of National Lampoon's Vacation when he's like, how would your sheriff feel about it? And the scamming mechanic pulls out a badge, right? You know what I'm talking about? That's what it is. And he's like, try us. We'll just up it anyway. And I'm like, in the dictionary, fixed means fixed position. It doesn't change. Well, it's like megabytes versus megabits. And I'm like, you're out of your mind. You're a fucking thief, a loan shark. Yeah, how much you got? Well, how much does it cost? I'm asking how much you got. By the way, my gun's in the car. I need to go get it. It's going to get cold. What do I do? It's going to be lonely. Anyway, so that's the second Bill of Rights. Let's move on. Point number 10, 60% Investment Act in companies in the United States. What that means is that if you're one of the big corporations, 60 to 70% of your staff must be American, or you will not be able to declare yourself an American company. So bring your workers back, or you can go register as a Chinese company. So if you're like Apple and you're like, well, 80% of my staff is Chinese, well, it's going to be under 60, or it's going to be under 40%, or you can register as a Chinese company, bucko, and you can get the fuck out and pay tariffs. Well, that'll ruin our business. Yeah, I know it will. I know it will. That's why I'm doing it. So we're going to be bringing your workers back here to America. Yeah, that. Isn't that fun? My business. I know your business. Oh, man, what a shakedown. I'm sorry to hear it. What, do you want the Chinese workers taking American labor? Fuck you, dick. You want the Chinese workers taking American labor? That's the problem. That's what everybody's worried about. What about American jobs? Moronic. Yeah, okay. You keep sucking the dick of China, bucko. And that's for all companies. Now, if you're a foreign company and you work in America, you're already registered as a foreign company. So Volkswagen, it's a German company. We don't have to worry about them. They can have 90% foreign labor because they're in fucking Germany. They don't have to hire American. There's no obligation. But if you're an American company, bitch, you're hiring American. Well, we don't want to do it. Then go out of business. This is a free market. You will be replaced. No more too big to fail. None of that bailout bullshit. Point number 11. This will get rid of what's called planned obsolescence. So this is a Department of Standards and Practices. So what would be is this would be a department of the government that investigates planned obsolescence and scams. So planned obsolescence is when a company produces something to break on purpose, to buy, to break, to buy, to break, to buy, charging you more and more and more money. So for instance, Volkswagen, and I always use this argument, on my Volkswagen, it uses a coolant reservoir that is right near the engine, and the coolant reservoir is made of plastic. So the reservoir that holds liquid is near a hot engine. What happens to plastic when it's near hot and cold and hot and cold? And it gets hot and cold and hot and cold and hot and cold. Metal does the same thing, but metal doesn't poke a big hole and start leaking coolant. Plastic does. So the plastic gets hot and cold and hot and cold. It gets weak, and it springs a leak, and it cracks, and it charges $1,500. That's what I had to pay once. I was told that'll happen about every 5 to 6 years. They could have given me a metal one. Well, they quit making it. Why did they quit doing it? Well, because Apple too, because they know that you have to keep replacing it. That's called planned obsolescence. So you would be able to take that and say, these motherfuckers are doing this. And then we investigate it and say, how much more is it to make it out of metal? It'll cost us an extra $1. Okay, so you're purposely doing it to make $7,000 off the life of a car. Yes, okay, well, you're going to be forced to make it in metal, even if it costs Americans $1 more. So basically what you'll do is the auto parts will cost maybe $1 or $2 more, and they'll last twice as long. You know what I'm saying? Or you have nails, and the nails are from China. They're made of shittier alloys. Well, you're going to up that, and then you're going to make that so it'll cost you slightly more. Yeah, see, thermostat, that's what we had to do. The whole thing. Thermostat housing, was it water pump? The whole thing, yeah. So you'd have to increase the standards of your shit to sell it here in America. Otherwise, fuck you. Get out. Right? Or you can pay high taxes, but you have to have a label on the product that says there are better. You have to have a label on the box that would basically say it's a planned obsolescence warning label that says this product does not meet the standards and practices of the United States and will break whatever, and have kind of like a cancer label. On cigarettes, you'd have to have a planned obsolescence label. So you would go to Walmart and there'd be a whole bunch of products with big yellow and red warnings that say planned obsolescence. It'd have a big warning triangle with a P in it. And it would say basically, this product is not to the standards of the United States. Buy at your own risk. If they even want to be here. Otherwise, fix your shit and make it better. And let's build America so cars are built to last. Electronics are built to work longer, etc. It's refrigerators will last. If you can buy one fridge and it'll last you 30 years. You can buy one lawnmower, and if you take care of it, it'll work for 20, 25 years. Not one that breaks every year. We got to get through that because that's fucking the American people. Also, this same department, you can report Indian and Pakistani and Bangladesh and whatever scams to them, and they'll work with the governments overseas to arrest the scammers. And if they're big enough, bring them to the United States and prosecute them. So that's the standards and practices department. That's a shielding against scams. If you didn't notice, the United States is the biggest victim of scamming in the world. Everyone on earth scams America. Everybody. Like 85% of all scams go into America to fuck us of money. So we're going to cut that off as much as humanly possible. That's why it needs to be done. We get those fuck faces arrested. We stop the scamming. You have more money. You have a better life. You don't have to worry about this shit. So now let's continue. I would like to incentivize, not law, but incentivize a 4-day work week. So I believe that Americans work too much. We don't have enough recreation. And I would like to incentivize companies for 4 10-hour days or 4 8-hour days. Now, you're allowed to work much more if you want, but I think a 4-day work week would give everybody, I think a lot of people would quit killing themselves if they had a 4-day work week. They would quit drinking so much and using drugs if they had more time off and they weren't so fucked up with this whole thing. And it would just increase mental health a lot. If you worked 4 days a week instead of 5, how would you do? It'd be great. Would you be like, this is great? It's like Friday and you're just sitting here. Fuck you. I'm getting high on Friday. Feeling good on a Wednesday. That type of shit. Exactly. I think that's the way it should be. Point number 13, end private prisons. I've never done 110 hours. I've done 65 was the most. I did about 58 there for a while at the security. Oh, God. Anything over like 55 is enough to fucking just, come on, dude. You know what I mean? End private prisons. That's point number 13. End private prisons. You can't really have a free society if you're jailing people for money. That's fucking retarded. I mean, I know you're making a lot of money, but that's fucking retarded. You're like, we are jailing people for profit. Jailing people for profit. That is the dumbest shit. Like what the fuck? How unscrupulous. What a horrible fucking cut. What a horrible way. What an absolute horrible fucking thing we did to our people by having private prisons. All private prison assets should be seized immediately. They should be turned over to the Department of Prisons, both at the state and federal level. All the private prisons are refederalized or resent back to the states. And private prisons will be investigated for wrongdoing, and all the money and assets seized, and they'll be made illegal in the United States 100%. If they try it again, there'll be laws set up making it so you will not be able to ever do that again. Private prisons, are you out of your mind? You don't privatize prisons or welfare. Fucking stupid bullshit. Dumbest fucking shit. And you don't privatize fucking CPS. They've done all that shit. Fucking ridiculous nonsense. How fucking terrible. Point number 14, decriminalize marijuana. That means there is no criminal penalty for marijuana unless it has fentanyl in it, and then you would be charged with fentanyl, not marijuana. So decriminalize marijuana. The states will choose if they can sell it or not. And the way I look at it is we decriminalize marijuana. The states can choose whether to sell or not. No one will go to jail. And we increase the penalties for cocaine, fentanyl, and heroin and shit like that. So that's my way of doing this. We decriminalize and decrease penalties. Hell yeah, Don, for that. And we increase, this guy is a male wearing black. And I have breasts, though. Oh. Well, no, I'm not the Boston shooter. Sorry about that. Providence. Brown University. Oh, yeah. But yeah, fucking douchebag. Anyway, we talked about that. It's the state's rights if you want to sell or buy it or whatever with marijuana. And if we decriminalize it, then we can have marijuana businesses with Canada. Because marijuana is legal in Canada. Right? So we can have Canadian marijuana here, and we can trade back and forth. We can, so marijuana, legal, fentanyl, life in prison. Fuck you. Maybe not life, 20 years, but fuck you. We're not doing this fentanyl bullshit, right? Fuck you. I'm 100% on board with blowing up cartels. I don't give a fuck. I would say B cups, actually. Point number 15, Veteran Housing Act, which is the same with the Military Mortgage Reduction Act. That would be if you're in the military, if you completed 4 years of military and you were honorably discharged, you get a discount for being honorably discharged on a house. And if you complete 4 years of the military, you get 50% off on a mortgage rate. And the longer you're in the military, so if you go career, you get even more discount on a house and more discount on mortgage rates down to 0.1% if you go career in the military. Why? Because that incentivizes younger people to join the military where they can learn a trade and a skill. And of course, that would go into the GI Bill into college as well. So that it basically uses the military as a way to train our youth and put them into college and in trades. So they'll be the ones creating small businesses and the ones going into college. And we'll have a much larger percentage of military people going into the trades, going into the universities, and then becoming leadership later on, which is something they'll learn in the military. Why? Well, if you look at, and you say, well, why is that? If you look at the youth in our country that are just murdering each other in Chicago and DC and New York and all that, we need to get them off the streets. No more thugging, no more gangbanging bullshit. If we incentivize people to join the military and say, we'll give you a much cheaper deal on a house, much cheaper mortgage on a house, people will line up because there's no way out of the hood in many cases. And it used to be that you could go into the military. So historically speaking, not recently, not since Vietnam, but historically speaking, people would go into the military to be educated. So when the poor people, thank you, BG. Yeah. So rich people always went to aristocracy, finishing schools, officer schools, universities. But poor people would join the military. That's where they would learn a skill and be educated. They would be taught language. They would get a free education. So in the 15, 16, 17, 1800s, if you were poverty stricken and you wanted to learn, you would join the military. Well, it was up, haha. If it was there, yeah, there's always a threat you die, but you became educated and enough. We could do that again. Thank you, Honduras, and use the military as a catalyst to generate a new mentality of people. Thank you, my friend. And that would be in with the a New American Dream Act, which that kind of is an over-encompassing with all this. But we'll get into that. That's point. Harsh animal cruelty penalties. I believe you should do up to 25 years in jail for the harshest animal cruelty. So if you are like somebody that just goes around blowing dogs' brains out for fun and you kill like 50 dogs, we'll just put you in jail for 25 years. You can get pounded out fucking in a prison. Fuck you. Right? Hey, thank you, my friend. It's I'd love to smoke a joint. Speaking of which, can you get a pre-roll out? My wife's gonna get a pre-roll. Hold on a second. So I believe like if you're caught on camera like abusing a dog, you can do like 2 to 5 in jail. If you kill animals or you do it like and go onto someone's property and kill a dog, like fuck you can do 10 years in jail. Thank you, my friend. Why? Because it's a living being. Suck my dick. That's why. You know what I'm saying? Oh, we got plenty of concentrate, don't we? Look at this. Look at this one right here. Yeah. See here, there's a nice, that's some, oh man, that right there is, I can't fucking read it for my life. It's an indica, I know that. It's an indica, I'll tell you that. We got this right here, my favorite, which my wife doesn't like. My wife doesn't like this. I like this, and I'm going to clean this out and use it again. Is this right here. This is the concentrate vape pen. This, she can't stand because she doesn't think she can get it working. I love this thing. This right here, you pull out the end here, right? And you just put the concentrate in there, and you put it in there, and you light, and you put it up, and it just slow melts it. These will fuck you up. It's like, but she doesn't like it. She thinks it tastes like burnt plastic. So, I don't blame you. It kind of does. Not going to lie. Anyway, so harsh animal cruelty laws. We absolutely need harsh animal cruelty laws. Point number 18, secure the border. This is where more people... Well, the other ones go real fast, though. Those first, like, 12 points are, like, complicated as fuck. The rest are like this. It's like third-party debt collecting illegal. It's like, come on. You can't... Like, that's pretty easy. You know what I mean? Secure the border with the United States military, National Guard, and electronic border systems to secure the border. That's what the increase in the military will be used for, so people joining the National Guard. I'd like to see the National Guard just at the border, just as a matter of course. That way we can limit assaults or attacks from terrorists coming into the United States. Point number 19, build desalinization plants out on the West Coast and then pipe water into the Colorado River, the Hoover Dam, and supply Los Angeles, San Diego, and Phoenix and Las Vegas with the water. And it's the year 2025. What the fuck are we doing? Come on, we can, everybody's talking about, well, we don't want to, cloud seeding and all this other shit. Yeah, we don't have to. We got desalinization plants. Half of Perth's water in Australia, half of Perth's water comes from desalinization plants. So why are we acting like fucking dumbasses? Yeah, let's just, or we can make long piping systems. Let's do this. Like, we got to think big. We got to quit being pussies. You know what I'm saying? We got to think big here. Point number 20, Patriot Institution Act. That would be if your company is found to be benefiting an adversary nation more than the United States, and you're basically saying that we're only here to operate to help our enemies out, then you will be disbanded and you won't be allowed to operate in the United States. So if you own like a bunch of, like Bill Gates, if he bought like 1,000,000 acres of farmland and then sold all of it to the Chinese, well, then it would be our land now. Fuck you. Right? That type of shit. Yeah, almonds, dude. Almond trees in California. Good God, man. You could have forests of them if we pipe the water in. What's up, Aaron? Point number 22 or 21. Felons allowed to vote. Felons should be allowed to vote. If you are a felon that's a non-violent felon or it's been a certain amount of time, you should be able to travel internationally and get a passport. And if you're a non-violent felon that's turned your life around, if you want to call it that, you should be able to own a gun. So if you were arrested when you were 19 for a non-violent felony like drugs, now you're a 45-year-old pastor that runs a church, why can't you own a gun? That's fucking stupid. You have no reason to not own a gun. Same thing with not traveling overseas or voting. Felons should be allowed to vote. And Republicans, you should be on board with this. And Democrats, you should too, because there's a felon in the White House, right? So come on, let's get this shit going. It's fucking dumb as shit. Anyway, point number 22, nationwide high-speed rail. Nationwide high-speed rail. We need to build a nationwide series of high-speed rail systems connecting every single city in America, much like China has, that can put the airlines, give them a run for their money. So would you go from Chicago to LA on a high-speed train going 270 miles an hour that would take 8 hours? Or would you fly for triple the price and being treated like shit on an airline that would take 4 hours? Airlines would still have their place, but fuck airlines. They've treated people like shit, and we charge like $100 to go from Chicago to LA versus $400 on an airline. You know what I mean? Fuck that shit. Yeah, absolutely, haha. It would take, from what I can tell, about 2 million men. And you'd have to get approval, and you'd have to connect every major city. It would be something that's like, you'd have to have almost a dictatorship, because there'd be so many lawsuits for land and tribes. You'd have to say, we'd have to draw every line around every environmental problem, every protected area, and every native tribe. High-speed rail. So there'd be no debate and no way to stop it. Yeah, you'd have to have absolutely good security. You'd have to be checked like at an airport. Because we're not going to have some dumb fuck blow up the rails. Exactly, yeah. So it'd have to be one of those things. There'd be a lot of AI surveillance and shit like that, but it would run very fast. And it would give the airlines a run for their money. The new American Dream Act, at the end of my book, I'll put all that together. That'll be point number 50, by the way. Which is all this can be the American. So only 49 points and then suck my ass. I love you. Point number 24, make third-party debt collecting illegal. Third-party debt collecting illegal. So if you don't pay your credit cards, no more writing the debt off for a company and then somebody buying the debt for pennies on the dollar and then suing you for the full amount of the debt. That'll also free up the courts, because approximately 60% of the courts is that dumb shit. So you won't be able to buy $1 million of debt for $5,000 and just sue everybody being rich. That's taking advantage of the system. That's fucking ridiculous. That's frivolous bullshit. And if MasterCard wants to sue you because you didn't pay, that's MasterCard's business, not some other dipshit. Well, we bought debt. We bought $5,000 in debt for $10. We're going to sue you for $5,000. It's like, The most you should be able to sue is for that money and court costs. The fuck is wrong with you? That's literally buying nothing and getting something out of it. That's ridiculous nonsense. So get rid of third-party debt collecting. That's stupid. Point number 25, Infrastructure Evolution Act. That's building roads out of Roman concrete. That's putting iridescent photoreactive bits into the pavement so it glows blue at nighttime. That's increasing evolving the infrastructure of power, water, internet, all that shit to something that's livable and evolvable. No more foreign wars. Take that money. Yes, that is New York. I took that picture. Point number 26, credit card interest rates capped at 10%. This would be a federal usury law. A federal usury law, which says that you will not be able to exceed 10% interest. Laws enforced by criminal penalties. 10% is the most a credit card company or anybody can charge for any interest ever. It will be a national law. It will supersede every state law. And if you don't like it, sue me, motherfucker. Point number 27, redistrict the United States without the influence of illegal aliens on the census. Did I stutter? Redistrict the United States without the influence of illegal aliens. That would be a fair system. Point number 28, adherence to the Constitution, to the letter of the law, or face criminal penalties when in any authority whatsoever. So if you're a lawmaker, if you're a police officer, a judge, if you violate the Constitution, you will face jail time. So no more pulling you over, bending the law to try to get you in jail, false confessions, like a cop in England, in America, they're allowed to lie to you. No, none of that. Adherence to the Constitution or jail time, any authority force. We're done with this shit. No more fucking shuck-a-mucking. No, none of that. Fuck you, right? We're done with that. Point number 29, if you're in government in any capacity, you will be barred from stock trading. You can own stock before and after, but while you're in office, it will be illegal to buy, share, or trade stock of any time. No, I took this picture 2 years ago. So you will not be able to buy, sell, or trade stock of any kind. Thank you, haha. That will make people like Nancy Pelosi, shit like that, that's illegal. Because obviously insider trading. Point number 30, retirement age will be lowered to 60. That's it. Thank you, Alibaba. Retirement age down to 60. That's it. Dan Crenshaw. Oh, man. Point number 31, go after companies that hired illegal aliens. Go after companies that hired illegal aliens. Jail time or fines for hiring illegal aliens. That includes Amazon. That includes Walmart. All this other shit. Take it easy, Dave. I'm hurrying. Point number 32, path for citizenship for illegal alien children aged 0 to 24. Simply because their parents brought them here, and deporting somebody that's 19 to El Salvador when they've never stepped foot in the country outside the age of 1 is dumb. That's retarded. We're not going to do that. I like saying retarded. Point number 32, end the surveillance state. That means lowering or getting rid of incentives for putting in flock camera systems and de-incentivizing surveillance here in the United States. That also means ending the Patriot Act. We're going to be doing this a whole other way, but the Patriot Act is intrusive. We have AI and we have quantum computing. We don't need any of this at all. We're getting to that point, so no. End the Patriot Act. That's dumb as shit. Get rid of the surveillance state. End what's called Citizens United. That's where companies can donate as much money as they want to a campaign. That's why you have shitty choices running for government, because rich people are the only ones that can run. CPACs donate, if CPACs have money, they donate $500 million like Elon Musk did, and you can't run for office. You get shut out by billionaires every time. You have no way to run. So, and Citizens United, there's another one called like Voices Now that allows you to donate as much. The other one, Citizens United, is allowed to spend as much. Get rid of that. Companies do not have human rights. That's fucking stupid. They're companies. Stop jerking them off. Let's quit let's stop this. It's about America. It's not about 12 people being billionaires. Suck my dick. How does it work? Kennedy is good. Point number 36, clean water and land. I don't want to focus so much on climate change and carbon in the atmosphere. I want to clean the water and the land of toxic chemicals and plastic. I want to get rid of super fund sites. If you know what super fund sites are, we need to get rid of those. Those are destroying America. And I want to get rid of the Great Pacific Garbage Patch by sending cargo ships with trawler nets to take the plastic out of the ocean. Then we can bring that plastic back. We can turn that plastic into gasoline with the gas or the Plasahol. Get that one black dude that invented that and make him a part of the gun. We'll have that inventing factories for it. Yeah, I understand we won't make much off of it, but it'll help and it'll be great. Yeah, no more chemtrails. That's illegal. Any of that any of that's illegal. All illegal. I'm getting into that here in a minute. Yeah, here we go. Weather modification, illegal. Exceptions when it comes to extreme drought with cloud seeding like they do in Dubai. Other than that, no more chemtrails, no HAARP, none of that shit. Fuck you. Point number 39, common sense abortion laws. That means if you're a victim of incest or rape, you can abort your child. Incest or rape, you can abort your child. Nobody should take care of an incest baby or a fucking rape baby. You taking care of the rape baby? What, are you out of your mind? Life of the mother, you can have an abortion. My wife's had a DNC. Was it twice? Twice due to blighted ovum and miscarriage. And I believe maybe before 60 days you could get an abortion. Otherwise, shit or get off the pot. And you can get the over-the-counter morning after pill. So go get it at CVS to have an abortion. Because sometimes, if you sleep with a nasty fuck, you don't want to get pregnant from them. So sometimes you make a mistake and you slip on a pee-pee, and sometimes it's a troll and you don't want that jisms in there. So I'm just throwing that out there. Egg come from the grocery store. No, of course, eggs come from a chicken. What are you, fucking stupid or something? Dude, I voted for Trump, dumb. Like, I know business. I went to grad school. I'm saying this is how the world should be. Of course, I don't live in reality. You think I want to live in this fucking shit stick? Yeah, that's what I want to do. I want to live in a place of torment, violence, and horrifying disdain to live every day. Yeah, suck my ass. But what came first, the chicken or the egg? Well, if you believe in God, you would have to say the chicken came first. If you believe in science, you'd have to say the egg came first. So which is it? Let me know. Anyway, point number 40, government investment into small business, not large business. No more bailouts for big business. Fuck you. Bailouts for small business only. That's it. No bailouts for big business. Too big to fail doesn't exist. So I want to give incentives to start small businesses paid for by the government with government loans. Those government loans, and you have to have security checks for all this. The first 3 or 4 years, you don't have to pay anything back. That's the hardest for business. And then you have to pay back on a sliding scale that should go along with your profit gains. Most businesses fail in the first year. I'd like to make that not happen so we can have more businesses succeed after 3, 4, 5 years. And then because of the government investments, absolutely. Inuits, absolutely. They come from China and Japan. I like Asian everything, pretty much, right, baby? I like China. We didn't go to Chinatown to get the medicines. See, where am I?
Chinatown.
We did go to Chinatown. Wohop, what?
Go in and get the medicine.
What?
Oh, no, it's okay.
That's true. Wohop was not as good this time. Not gonna lie. Anyway, so there's that with the investments into small business, not large business. There's too much business concentrated in just a couple major companies. We need to get Main Street back again with people actually having, thank you, haha, having people, small business makes big business, right? Walmart didn't start with Walmart. It started with one store. Everything was small business. So why are you jerking off big business? If big business is fuck bags, let's get small business growing into big business. Digital Bill of Rights. Oh, and also the right to repair. That's everything but digital Bill of Rights also. Basically, you can't be harassed if you don't want to, bullied if you don't want to. So if you tell people to stop and they keep doing it, harassing, bullying, they would possibly face shit. There would be no hate speech laws. That's dumb as fuck. So you can say whatever you want. You just can't. Like if somebody says stop, you got to stop. Like there has to be common sense shit. People get bullied to suicide and shit like that. It gets sickening. And I already know where this goes. Obviously, if you bully someone at school too much, you try to get them to kill themselves, that should be a criminal offense. And so, like, no more gangs of, like, 8 people. We're going to expose you. We're going to show pictures to people. We're going to kill you. Yeah, fuck you all, right? Fuck you. You go to jail. Like, we're not doing this anymore. It's time to get back to a mentality of normalcy. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's about acting right. Now, what about hate speech? You go online, you say the N-word. Well, that's protected speech. Well, why is that? Well, that is not having any harm to kill somebody. Well, it could incentivize, well, no, you can call them a cracker right back. But if you tell them to stop and they continue, you've asked them and requested that they stop. You don't have to have a cease and desist, just, I told you to stop. Okay, because of law, I will stop. Okay, that's all it takes. Right? You can, but like, I would talk about Candace Owens, but I'm not going to. Like, there's a limit to it. You know what I'm saying? There's a limit. It's supposed to be offensive. See that? Well, that's what I'm worried about. And is that too much? Let me know in the comments. If it's not, we remove it from the list. And then it's just and then we go back to fucking Thunderdome. I'm open to changing laws. These are just suggestions, right? It's all suggestion. And so it's like, I ask audience, what do you think? And if a majority of, because that's what America's supposed to be. Do you like it or do you not? If you like it, we approve it. And if you don't, I guess suck my ass. And we don't do it. Majority rule, right? Isn't that what it's supposed to be? One for all for one. Yeah, there we go. Anyway, so let's continue. Next point number 41. I talked about it earlier. National School Security Force. That's where you would take veterans and retired police officers, and they would go to work for the government as an officer, and you would be a protector of the school. As you see, there was another school shooting at Brown today, including universities. There's about 130,000 schools in America. There's currently 8.5 million veterans under the age of 50. They're trained. We put them through rigorous training as well. And they become national school safety officers. Same with retired police officers. So you would have one school safety, or not just a safety officer, that would have like an AR-15 and battle armor and shit like that. And there'd be one at every elementary school. It would be on population size. So if you had, like, for every 150 students, or what would you think, every 250 students, there would be one armed school safety officer at every school. and then at middle schools you would have probably 2. And then if you had, let's see, a high school might have as many as 2 to 4, depending on it. There's already school officers that drive around, but these would be armed with battle armor, and they would be this is how it is. This is how it is, and they don't patrol for you. They don't, like, school safe. They wouldn't patrol to come after you and go on raids in your home. They would be there only as reactionary forces in the school, right? So there's already cops that do that and patrol the schools. They township cops around here. And so, but you would have 2 guys basically at a high school that have AR-15s and ammo, and they would be able to, they'd be under lock and key, and they would have like fingerprint readers that only they could get in, blah, blah, blah. And if some shooting happens, they go in. It's a rapid response force that can meet with body armor and tactical advantage. More than one person taking out a subject. So if some guy comes to school and says, I'm going to shoot everybody like at Columbine, instead of meeting a bunch of students running away scared, instead of that, you have 2 men armed with AR-15s hitting the target, fucking them up, turning them into Swiss cheese. He drops, and then instead of 37 students being killed, maybe we reduce that casualty number down to 1 or 2, right? Before, and then you hear, okay, we're done, we get it going, rapid response. And then before the cops get there, 5 minutes before the cops get there, this guy's done, taken out, right? Thank you, my friend. And then we're done here. That's the end of it. Minimalize casualties. And then eventually it won't be like, just don't let everyone have guns. Well, you see, that's the issue. At what point, see, gun laws aren't made for hunting. It's made to shoot the government if they step out of line. Like, we're fucked up about guns here in America. Guns are not there for hunting, or even there for sport. They're supposed to be not used. Like, think of a fire extinguisher that says, in case of emergency, break glass. Okay? So you have a gun with ammo back there. In case our government starts going door to door, shooting people or arresting you to execute you based on your race or your gender or whatever it is, you have a gun there and it doesn't do anything. Right? Maybe you take it to the range and shoot it just in case. But when the government says, well, we're sending death squads door to door. Well, in case of emergency, break glass. Hey, now we have 60 rounds and these fuckers are coming. And so if they're going to kick in the door and they're going to come, oh, hey, you're all fucking white or whatever race it is. We're going to take your family and kill you. They can kick in the door and you can, and you can have a fighting chance where the women and children escape. That's what it's there for. It's there for, in case of emergency, break glass. It's not supposed to be the major. It's majority rule. I don't like the 2/3 bullshit. So continuing that, digital bill of rights. We already talked about that. Point number 43, no more pharmaceutical ads on television. No more marketing. Like, I would like to see drug companies do research and development, not make money and become a wealthy motherfucker. Maybe Luigi was right? So instead of making money, just marketing and being let's cure cancer, let's cure AIDS, let's get our head out of our ass. They spend $1 billion on research and development and $5 billion on marketing. Let's reverse that shit. Let's spend $5 billion. Imagine the diseases that would be cured if you had 5 times the resources. I'm almost done. Reduce the necessity of credit score for financials. Here in the United States, credit score has too much weight. It's ridiculous. We should lower the weight of the credit score by 50% probably. Anything that you can download an app and your credit score goes up, that's a problem. That means it's arbitrary and stupid. So you can download an Equifax app and you get a 15% boost on your credit score. That's dumb as fuck. How stupid. What an arbitrary dipshit system. So fuck that. No more of that. Reduce the necessity of your credit score. It'll be more of window dressing rather than a necessity to get things. I think work history and how much you make, that should trump everything. Not a fucking stupid credit score. That's retarded. No more frivolous lawsuits. So the United States would develop what's called a frequent flyer list. Much like a no-fly list, these are people that abuse the justice system to create frivolous lawsuits. That would be called a frequent flyer database. So let's say you have protective orders on 6 people. That's a little suspicious. You're going to be on a frequent flyer list. So, I put out another protective order. Well, if you're going to do that, you'll have to attend an appeal hearing first. An appeal hearing, yes, you have so many people that you've put on protective orders. Now we're on your 7th, 8th, whatever. You're going to now come before a judge and you're going to explain why you should be allowed a protective order. Then you're going to say why these other people do. Because this looks a little sus to us. So, so you're saying we're going to revisit. You made up 3 of those? Right? And in this one you're making up, we're going to remove those protective orders because you're a fucking liar, and then then you won't be able to do this. Now, every court hearing that's like civil like this, you're going to have to go to a hearing beforehand, a hearing that says, we don't trust you, right? You're a frequent flyer. No more just dragging innocent people to court because you're a piece of shit. So we're just gonna, this one's crazy, fuck you. And you'll reduce a lot of waste in the court system, I promise you. I promise you. You'll have no more frivolous lawsuits. It'll stop ambulance chasers so that, like lawyers, the hot coffee on the crotch, we're gonna go back to common sense. Law firms would be sanctioned. Whole law firms. So if your whole thing is like finding loopholes to sue people, yeah, you might be disbarred for that. Because if you're a lawyer and you end up on the frequent flyer list, right? Yeah, imagine that. That'll happen. So that'll teach you to be a little bit better. You know what I mean? That'll teach you not to be a dickhead about everything. Point number 46, remove supplemental fluoride from the water. So the fluoride that's added, remove supplemental fluoride from the water. I know water has natural fluoride in it depending on where it comes from. I'm talking supplemental. So stuff, it'll help your teeth. I didn't ask for that. I don't want it. Well, no, you're having it. I don't want it. I've lived in a country where there is no fluoride. It tastes better. I'll just say that. Instead of just going down what I think it does to your body, we'll just say it tastes better. I don't want it. I don't want fluoride in the water. Fuck you. Well, I don't care what your excuse is. No more in it. I don't care what it is. You can tell me that it will cure me of fucking syphilis. I don't want it. Do not want it. Oh, hell yeah. What's up, Navy Corpsman? Hell yes. For the layman out there, that's a medic in the Navy. And a hospitaler. Point number 47, kind of like RFK Jr., getting rid of cancer-causing chemicals from your food and water supply. So no more forever chemicals, no more fluoride, no more toxic dyes, no more of that shit. We'll do kind of like Canada does. Point number 48, lower pesticides in the food. I'd like to see at least a 75% reduction in pesticides in the food. I think that would be stationed in Balboa. Oh, no shit. Dude, San Diego. I love San Diego. Nice place. My uncle was in the Marine Corps out there, and the Marine base out there. You know what I'm talking about. I think it's in San Diego too. My uncle was out there. Or were you there? Were you in the Marines there? Point number 49, common sense copyright laws. I don't really think you should be able to sue for every copyright law. Like if you don't show a television show for 25 years and then somebody puts it in a background on a video, that like, what the fuck? You're not showing it. I think there should be an active copyright law, which basically says if you have an inactive thing for a historic, so if you have like cars after 25 years, they're historic. So I think if you have a show that's inactive or a piece that's inactive for 25 years, the general public should be able to show it. Right now, it's 99 years after the death of the creator. That's fucking dumb as shit. That needs to be revisited. It would make YouTube a lot better too. And point number 50, arguably one of the most important, a national referendum voting. So that would be every major decision in the United States would get a national referendum vote. We would have a Department of Elections expanded, and everything that we would vote on in America, no matter what it is, that was big, right? Like if we went to war, if we were going to lower or raise taxes, legalize weed, private prison, all this other shit, everybody in America would vote. So you'd be voting probably like 3 to 5 times a year on certain aspects. And we would market it, and we would tell people about it. You would go out and vote, and then you wouldn't make the law, but that would be like a marker of what the American people want. So if you said like, I want to decriminalize weed, we give it a nationwide vote, 68% say yes. Okay, so that means that we're going to bring it back to the Congress and the Senate. And if 68%, give or take, do not vote for it, then you know certain people are being un-American and have ulterior motives, and their voting should match what the American people want. If not, we have to open up an investigation as to why, etc., etc. Anyway, and that's my government, or at least that's what I'd like to see done. So you can like it, you don't have to like it. Suck my ass if you don't. If you do, I'm going to write a book about it, and I'll be promoting it on TikTok and YouTube as soon as I get it done. I haven't even started it yet, nor do I know what I want to call it. Probably something like the 50 points for making America great. Right, or 50.
I don't know.
What? You sound just hateful. You're like, I'm just kidding. So anyway, that's that right there. My tongue hurts because I was talking on TikTok and now I'm talking on YouTube. So that's my plan. So if you like it, let me know. That was 50 points of my plan. If you like it, let me know. If you don't, let me know what I need to do to change it. And if you're an asshole, don't leave a comment being an asshole. Immigrants is migrants. Keep it real. Anchor babies. So, if you have any suggestions, let me know. Comment. This will be turned into a video at some point, I'm sure. That's it. So, subscribe here. Subscribe to me. It's free to subscribe. We could do that, Meep. Free to subscribe. So, subscribe to my YouTube channel. If you have money, gift me here on YouTube. Or I have a Cash App and a Venmo. Gift me there if you have a lot of money. Or if you want to see me film in some particular place. So I have this rule. If you give me like money to travel to the place, I'll set up and film at that place for you. So if you want me to go to like Egypt, I'll go there. Oh, that's not good, Agus. Ain't no one giving you money. Sometimes they do. Your mom did last night. It was fun for the services I provided for her, though. Obviously. Don't worry. She'll tell you about it one day. Fucking dick sucker. Anyway, that's what it is. Yeah, we're all broke, man. That's America. So, subscribe, share, like, hit the notification button. And coming up here, I'll probably also play World of Warship from time to time.
Oh, God.
Not now, while talking, but not showing my face because sometimes I just get bored and I don't want to be real into it, but I want to still talk to you guys and blow up shit because my voice hurts. So that's what we're doing here. So follow me, all this type. If you don't like me, block me or mute me, suck my dick. And if you like me, subscribe, and I have memberships. I have like, what, 25 members, 30 members?
You have like 30 something.
30 something, really? Damn. As soon as I get 100 members, I'll start making members-only content.